Kenny, what differences have you seen in the players since they got their first win, if any? I mean, more upbeat, or how would you describe it?
Definitely more upbeat. Definitely a happiness about them, which both is a double-edged sword because I don't want them to think we've arrived because we haven't. We still got a lot of work to do. But it's good to see them see their work pay off. And even with that being said, like I told them, there were points in the game where you left it in the balance. It could have went either way. You know, to think about Kamari's shot. It's a big shot. It's not the shot that we want. He made it. Our offense wasn't efficient on that play. So there are points in the game where we still made a lot of mistakes at critical times, but our defense and our energy helped us get through it.
Kenny, you've talked about this team in the past, sometimes maybe taking some things for granted, and you've talked about, the talent gap with some of the teams they play that maybe they don't understand it. Do you worry at all about them relaxing a little bit with a win?
I think any coach dealing with, or any person dealing with young people, you have to worry about it because it's their generation. They can take things for granted. We've tried to work hard since that win. We're trying not to let them relax. We're going to go out, and today will be a hard practice. Tomorrow we'll be ready. We'll see if we can win today.
How different is it teaching off a win opposed to constantly teaching off a loss?
There is a difference. When we watch film of the game, I was more upbeat about what they did well. But also the dilemma for me was how much of the bad do I show them? I had to show them. Because I need them to understand we won this game by 10, but that game really was closer than that. There were plays in that game where we got a break. And we made our breaks as well, but we got a break. And we can't take that for granted. We got to see where we made our mistakes. We got to know that defensively we are connected, and when we're not connected, what do we look like? At points of the game when we're not connected, it can't be to finish games. It can't be to finish halves.
I'm sure that's the Jalen Withers you hope to have all season, season high in points and rebounds. What can you do to get him, maybe not to put those same kind of numbers up again, but have the same kind of performance?
I'll tell you this, that I'm going to continue to hold him to a different standard. Probably be a little more upset when I don't get that same energy, that same rebounding intensity. I'll probably take him out because I keep saying this to him, and I'm going to let you guys in on it. I need him to see himself the way I see him. And I see him as an elite defender. I see him as an elite rebounder. I see him as a guy that should be filling up a stat sheet every night. And if he doesn't see himself that way, that's going to be a problem for me. And it has been a problem for me.
Kenny, the last couple games with Kamari, he's hit maybe his first, or I think the other night was his second shot. And it seems to be different when he gets that confidence early. Do you see that? Do you talk to him about it? I mean, because a couple games when he misses shots, he seems to get down on everything else.
Well, it's funny you talk about Kamari. Last night I was on the phone with Bam Adebayo, congratulating him on breaking the All-Star team. And we started talking about Jimmy Butler. And Jimmy Butler is a master at drawing fouls. Kamari needs to take a page out of his book. You're shooting 90-something% from the free throw line. Why aren't you playing to drive, shot fake, draw fouls, make two? You can fill up points just by doing that. Make a layup or two, make one jump shot, get 8 free throws, 10 free throws. You're a major part of what we're doing. That should be his mindset. And after talking to Bam about it, I had our guys put together some video clips, hadn't showed them to him yet, of just how he's drawing his fouls, making people foul him. So that's something that he can do to build on, the game he just had.
It seems like with Kamari, early in the season, a lot of dribbling. He was very tentative to do pretty much anything. It's a process. It's been slow, but it seems like that continues to get better and better. Are you seeing the same thing?
I'm definitely seeing the same thing. It's way better. He's trying to play the way we need him to play, north-south. Every now and then he can't help himself. He's going to go right, go left, and I tease him and said the defender's not going to fall down for you to shoot. You're going right, you're going left, you're going back right, you're going back left, and he's still there, and you only went 2 yards either way. So he's going to be there when you get done. But he's trying, and I'm happy that he's trying. I'm happy that he recognizes he has to play a different way, and he's been trying to do that.
First, anything new on Brandon?
Nothing yet. It's been a while that we've been keep talking about this, but I'm hoping really soon that he's ready to go. We miss him and we need him.
You had said, you hope when he comes back that he sees he's got to step up his level of energy, and you've talked about Emmanuel as an example for some of those guys. Have you seen any of that yet, where guys are starting to register that they have to play up to his energy level?
Well, what I have seen is in practice, they're asking him, why are you going so hard? Why are you so physical? Stop practicing like that. I like that. The players don't know that I know that, but and he didn't even tell me that. Someone else did, but I like the fact that he's making them practice harder, play with more physicality, knowing that if you aren't paying attention, he will hit you in the mouth. He will elbow you. It's just the way the culture he's coming from and the way he's been playing in NBA Africa, they play physical. And we need that. We really do.
With already having faced Florida State earlier this season and that game being what it was, what is it that you want to try and change your overall approach preparing them for a second time so that those results don't replicate?
Well, watching the game from the first time, we talked about penetrating, finding open people, not challenging the big guy at the time who was playing major minutes, starting. He's not starting now, but the game plan doesn't change. Looking at the game that when we played them the first time defensively, we were soft. We didn't protect the paint, so they got a lot of stuff off ball screens diving to the rim. They attacked us, put us on our heels. We turned the ball over. Some of the turnovers you can't make up. JJ takes the ball out of bounds, throw it to L, runs over L, or kicks the ball to the defender. He makes a three. I mean, you can't draw that up. So I want them to see some of the clips from that game just to recognize we can't be that bad right now. We have to be a lot better than that in that game. So I feel good about that we play a little bit better, a little bit harder, a little bit tougher, and let's see where we are after this game.
How many people have you heard from congratulating on your first conference win, and who were 2 or the 3 more interesting ones?
Larry Brown reached out. Mike Tomlin reached out. Coaches from all over the country. Good dear friend of mine, George Feldman, reached out. We talked for this morning for a little bit, who works for the San Antonio Spurs. I heard from a little bit of everybody, probably 200 people. Former players, they all reached out. I went to see Denny today, talked to Susan and him about what we're trying to do and how we continue to try to bring this along and hadn't let go of the rope, still fighting. Want him to and her to be alive to watch us make a big jump, to see this program that he poured so many years in do represent him. And it's hard because these kids have no idea of the work that went into this program before they got here. And we're trying to educate them on that as well.
Kenny, one thing on Kamari and the free throw shooting. As you know, in the NBA, people often look at that free throw shooting as an indicator of how you might shoot the ball down the road. Do you think the jump shot is coming for him, and does that give you any extra confidence in it?
I'm a little different when it comes to that. You know, I just think that as a basketball player, you have to score a multitude of ways. If you're dependent on strictly jump shots, that's a hard way to play this game. You got to get fouled. You got to get layups. You got to get post-ups. I don't care if you're a guard or a big. You got to find a way to score different ways. And for Kamari, there's one thing that stands out far more than anything else, his percentage from the free throw line. Then, kid, draw as many fouls as you can and still play north-south. Get to spots, shot fake, flop if you have to. I don't care what you do. Get to that free throw line and go make 2 free throws and get out of there. So probably the best way I can answer that is that.